Hello and welcome to Good or Bad. Visually striking are the words I would use to sum up Insidious. Directed by James Wan and released in 2010, this film stars Patrick Wilson as family man Josh Lambert, Rose Byrne as his loving wife Renee Lambert, Ty Simpkins as poor in a coma but not really in a coma kid Dalton Lambert, and Andrew Astor as Foster Lambert, who really doesn't add much to the film at all. And her baby plays the role of a baby. You might say she's been practicing that role since she was born. Definitely is a baby. Can't fault good casting. So that's the family that it all happens to. But what is it that actually happens? Well, Dalton here just won't wake up one day. So quite naturally they rush off to the hospital, where the doctors want to do some tests.
How long will the test take?
Oh good God! I knew wait times were getting long in hospitals, but I didn't think it was that bad. So all the doctors think that Dalton is in a coma, but in actuality something far more evil is going on. Damn it, I just missed the perfect opportunity to say the word insidious. Let me do that again. You see Dalton here. His doctors believe he is in a coma, but in actuality something far more sinister. Shit! I'll just pretend I said it. As Dalton sleeps, things get a little scarier in the house than everyone would like. There is a strange voice coming over the baby monitor. And if you think that was bone-chillingly terrifying, check this out.
It scared the hell out of me. I was at the piano and I could hear it on the monitor, and I turned up the volume and
My hair will be positively white by the end of this film. Oh, and if that wasn't enough for you, there is a face at the window and the burglar alarm is set off. Let me repeat that for you because I know it's a lot to take in. There's a face at the window and the burglar alarm is set off. Twice! I didn't plan on sleeping tonight anyway. To be fair, these scenes are quite good. They do build suspense, and if they were to actually happen to you, even forgetting the supernatural element, if someone said to you, there's a face at the window, then the alarm's going off, and the front door's wide open, I forgot to mention that bit. Well, it'd be brown trousers time, wouldn't it? But moving on, the following day, Renee is checking in on Dalton, but finds a bloody red handprint on the bedding. Fun fact! That's right, it's fun fact time! Don't know why I did that, but that bloody red handprint isn't actually blood, and by that I don't mean that it's fake blood used to look like real blood. It's not actually supposed to be blood. It is in fact lipstick. You may be thinking, why lipstick? Surely blood would be scarier. I could have said Insidious again, but I missed it. Anyway, you would be right to think those things, but the reason why they chose lipstick is because of the main villain. This guy. Once you're done laughing, get ready to laugh some more, because its name is the Lipstick Face Demon. I know it's incredibly stupid. You know what I think when I look at that face? That big, red, stupid face. Looks a bit like what would happen if Darth Maul and Freddy Krueger had a baby together. You may be able to tell that I find the Lipstick Face Demon about as scary as a bag of chips. Also on this channel, the Lipstick Demon means the demon from Night of the Demons that inserted lipstick into her nipple. And I'm sorry, but after someone does that, everyone else should just leave lipstick alone, because you can't beat that. Then we have more haunted shenanigans, as a ghost is pacing up and down outside the window. Then all of a sudden, it's inside the room. A simple but effective scene. So, presumably because they're running out of underwear, they decide to move house. To a lovely, nice, fresh new home. Completely free of ghosts and goblins. Oh wait, there's a dead child dancing in the corner. That's usually not a good sign. Imagine if that ghost kid is a complete coincidence, and the haunting in their old home hasn't followed them over to their new house. They just happen to have the really bad luck of picking another haunted house. I mean, as financially unfortunate as that would be, at least the answer would be simple. Move a third time, But sadly no, that is not the case, because what is actually going on is something far more scary. I should have said insidious. So now they know whatever this is, it has followed them, and they need help. Unfortunately, Josh's mother Lorraine knows someone. The all-powerful Lin Shaye. She plays Elise. Kind of a clairvoyant, but essentially she brings the Chuckle Brothers along for comic relief as she walks around the house and makes the lipstick-faced demon seem scarier than it is. Because there is this one scene where she plays a game of if you see it, say it, and she says it because she can see it, and Specs here draws it. Also, I wasn't being mean, that guy is actually called Specs. If you don't believe me, look at his IMDb page. Oh yeah, feels stupid now, don't ya? You punk. But yeah, that scene was really good. And then Elise explains her theory. Dalton has astral projected himself into a scary place that she likes to call the Further, where he has gone, exploring the land beyond life. And he has been doing this for some time, but he only thought they were dreams, so one night he went really far, and he has become lost. This has led him to meet the lipstick-faced demon. I'm sorry, I just can't say that name seriously. Just anything about this thing, I just cannot take seriously. But essentially, the lipstick-faced demon has trapped him, which means his physical body is unoccupied, an empty vessel, and the dead know it. Most of the entities haunting them are the tortured souls of the dead, who are so desperate to live again, which is why they are all converging on him.
But there are other entities who are malevolent and have a more insidious agenda.
Oh, I was just about to say that.
Beat me by 1 second.
I will, as James Wan as my witness, use the word insidious to describe something about this film. Well, go on, Elise, finish your explanation.
A demon who seeks Dalton's body for one reason: to cause pain to others. He is so desperate to possess Dalton, and he's the closest of all the entities to getting inside of him. To cross over from their realm, it takes time, it takes energy. But the longer that Dalton's astral body is kept away from his physical body, the weaker the link gets. The easier it is to possess him.
Well, that sounds delightful. So they take a bit of time to think, to process things. Then Josh kicks them out. Then Josh cries. Then Josh invites them back in. Then Josh takes part in a seance. Then Josh witnesses his son get possessed. Then Josh gets knocked off his chair. Then Josh tries to stop the long-haired fiend from attacking his wife. Then Josh watches as Elise kicks the lipstick-faced demon out of his son. Then Josh has done just about enough. It's time to give him a break. Gosh, you guys are relentless. So the seance? That was a cool scene, wasn't it? Most films have them sitting around a table, holding hands and going, "Oh, I can feel something. Isn't it really scary in here?" But no. James Wan, for many years now, has watched all of these films and he's had only one question. Where were the gas masks? So he puts Elise in a gas mask in an attempt to make his seance scene stand out. I mean, you could also have them all wear Led Zeppelin-themed top hats and scarves. It would stand out more, but it doesn't mean it makes it better. To be fair, I don't mind the gas mask, but personally, I don't really think it adds that much to the seance. At the end of the day, it's your bog-standard seance scene. They make contact, bad stuff happens, they move on. So after achieving absolutely nothing, they are left with only one option. Explain how Josh's mother knew Elise to begin with. It was a dreary Tuesday in Margate. The morning paper had not been delivered and the milk was on the turn. None of that happened. What actually happened was, when Josh was a child, he used to astral project as well. And he was being drawn out into the further by a parasite. Someone who wanted nothing more than to possess his living body so they could escape the horrors of this afterlife. Quick question about this film's version of the afterlife. There is more than the further, right? Because if not, that's horrific. It would be we die and there's an eternity in the shadows of crushing loneliness and torture. If people knew, McDonald's would go broke because everyone would be trying to stay as healthy as possible. So, they show Josh pictures of his childhood, which shows this not at all creepy thing in a black veil getting closer and closer to him, until Lorraine found help in the form of Elise suppressing his memory and his ability to astral project. You see, she could do it because she could do it. Don't question Lin Shaye. I hope you've learned that now. They have come up with a plan. Get Josh to remember how to astral project, go into the further, and bring back Dalton. Which means only an 80s montage can reawaken his abilities. What the hell? Due to copyright, you cannot play this song. And to be honest, doing a montage joke for a movie that does not feature a montage was a poor decision anyway, and you should pack it all in and do something else with your life. Because, quite simply, you're just not good at this. Well, that's a bit harsh. Okay, so some ticking awakens Josh's abilities, and off he goes into the further. And it's all dark and spooky with lots of creepy people. You know, they really nailed the atmosphere in this movie. After visiting some wonderfully creepy individuals, Josh has a fight with the long-haired fiend. Again, check his IMDb page, that's his real name. He winds up at a red door, which is the home of the one, the only, Richmond from the IT Crowd. And if you don't get that reference, I'm sorry, there's just no hope for you. Actually, quite predictably, it's where the lipstick-faced demon lives. I still think it's a stupid villain. It looks silly. It has a silly name. It's just not scary. That being said, if I wake up tonight and it stood over me, I will literally poo the bed. Josh unshackles his son and runs home with the lipstick demon in hot pursuit. You know, freeing Dalton was remarkably easy. You would think that a demon in its own realm would do a better job than shackles that apparently weren't even locked. Or if they were just very easy to break. When they get back there, Dalton makes the home run to his body while Josh asserts to the veiled miscreant that he is no longer afraid. Okay, no, this one is in the credits as Old Woman. I just thought that the veiled miscreant was more dramatic. I was going to go with Miss Evangelista, but it was already taken. Goddamn Russell T Davies stealing all the good names. And I don't care that that was a Stephen Moffat episode. Russell was the showrunner, so it's his fault. I'm not sure what's his fault, but something is. I'm getting distracted. They both wake up in their bodies, and all is well that ends well. Or does it? While Dalton beat Mr. Lipstick to the punch, Josh is not the one that woke up in his body. It was in fact the veiled miscreant, which is a bit unfortunate for Elise because she discovers it and gets strangled to death. The end. Insidious. Overall, I do like it for a fair few reasons. I do like the cast. I found all the characters to be very relatable and easy to root for. The soundtrack was good. Very heavy use of violins that jolt you to attention whenever they want to add any shock to the scene. The music pick was good too. Tiptoe Through the Tulips was a nice choice. And as I said at the start, this film is very visually striking. That doesn't in any way mean the villains are scary, but they are memorable. In fact, and I don't think this is a very nice comparison, but I mean it in the nicest possible way. It reminds me a lot of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, with their use of colour and over-the-top designs. For all of their flaws, they knew how to build a vibrant world. And the same is true for Insidious. From the costume design to the set design, it looks so nice. You know, I watched this film when it first came out in 2010 and I've not seen it since then. 13 years have passed, I'm watching it again and everything looks just how I remember it. And that is a testament to how well this movie visually stands out from other horror films. As for the story, I like that they made astral projection a big part of it, because not a lot of horror films use astral projection, so it was nice to see it be the bedrock of this story. So there is certainly a lot to like about Insidious. There are only really two things about this movie that I don't like. As I've mentioned a few times, the lipstick-faced demon is a bit too goofy, so the movie could have used a better villain. Even with this film's over-the-top aesthetic, I just thought it was a bit too much in that direction. And the other thing is, I always get the feeling like it's trying to be a genuinely scary movie, but it just isn't. Whereas when I look at James Wan's later supernatural horror films, The Conjuring 1 and 2, I thought that they had a sharper edge to them. So I would very much be interested in seeing James Wan return to the Insidious films after making two arguably scarier horror films. Maybe that will happen one day, but for now we can look forward to Patrick Wilson directing and returning as Josh Lambert in Insidious: The Red Door, which will serve as the 5th Insidious film. Wow, I've got a lot of catching up to do. But anyway, to sum it up, I do like this film, but I don't love it. And the way they've scratched this kid's eyes out on the Blu-ray cover, it's just insidious in nature. You have been watching Good or Bad, and I'll see you next time. Yo, guess who's got a fun fact for you? Well, I don't know, I imagine somebody does. But I've got a fact for you. That fake blood hand lipstick bollocks, I got that wrong, didn't I? Because there is one scene where she plays a game, if you see it, say it, and if you say it, see it, see it, say it, she draws it. Because there is this one scene where she plays a game of, if you see it, say it, and say it if you can see... Because there is this one scene where she plays a game of, if you can say it, see it. The other way around, and Specs draws it. Also, I wasn't being mean, that guy is actually called Specs. Don't believe me? Look at his IMDb bollocks. Dalton has astral projected himself into a scary place called the Further. Shit.